So some time back I bought this Yuani power that really moves. Yuani power 1500 watt inverter. Well, as you can see by the inside of it, there is a conspicuous black mark, and on the inside of it, these are transistors along the back here. Right, so I don't know if you can see that where the end of my finger is, but these are black, and the one back here is split in half. So that's not ideal really. And it went bang while I wasn't here. So note to self, turn the inverter off, because it's all black in there as well. I've undone these screws, by the way, so they're not held on or anything now. It doesn't really seem to be anything worth saving. I could repair this and buy new transistors, but then if it's gone pop already, I don't think there's much point. So little warning to anybody: if you go off and leave your boat with the inverter switched on, you may, if you buy a cheap Chinese one, because I couldn't afford the Victron one, come back to your boat on fire. I'm very pleased that this went pop and died, but at the same time it took my induction hob with it, which wasn't switched on. It was plugged in, but it wasn't switched on, and that no longer functions because this has gone bang, and I'm not entirely sure why. All these over here are fuses. All those fuses are intact, so nothing overloaded in there. It just went bang. So that's the end of my day's sailing today, and a nice pint in the pub with the boys. And I thought I'd just come and have a quick look at this before I went to bed. Not ideal really. I've got another one which I also bought from some online Chinese shop, so I'm hoping that won't do the same. But at the same time, and looking back over there, that's not ideal, is it? And one of the transistors has actually busted itself in half. I'm hoping that the new one won't do this, because this is probably 5 years old. I bought this 5 years ago, maybe. Might have even been a little bit longer than that, 6 or 7 years, but it has never been used until this week. And it's a worry that they can sell something like this, which has fuses on it over here, which are 4, 8, 12, there's 160 amps of fuse there. None of that has gone, but it has toasted all the transistors in the back of the system here, which are onto the heatsink. That's a heatsink on the back, so that is supposed to dispel all the heat from the transistors. Not good really, is it? Not sure quite how I feel about that. Obviously there's no getting my money back on this because it's a few years old. But if you have one that looks similar to this, obviously there was a little readout in there which I've popped out, which goes in there. So anything that looks like that, I'd be very wary of. It's meant to be 1500 watts. Clearly it isn't. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about that. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned, there'll be more. So that was a good day yesterday. I slept very well. It's amazing what a couple of pints of Guinness can do for you. Great day out sailing, lovely people. So a big thank you to Ian and Felicity for inviting me along. This morning I'm going for breakfast because I can't drink anymore. So a slightly more exciting day today than, well, it was quite exciting when this blew up. As I showed you earlier, or the other night, all that down there is black and crispy, and it smells black and crispy. So that is going in the bin. This is my new one, which says quite confidently that it does 4,000 watts continuous power. I actually don't believe a word of it, but I plugged it in onto the battery bank the other day just to try it out, and it actually chucked out 1600 watts into the microwave, so that worked quite well. So if it does 4000 watts for £305 from China, that's going to be a bargain. So I've got connectors here, and I've completely failed to bring the wire out, so I'll go and get that in a minute. Well, this is the wire that I bought. I'm hoping it's going to be enough. It's thicker than the wire they supply with this, and if it isn't, then I'll just double it up. So you've got twice the amperage then, in theory, but it seems like good quality wire, so we'll see what happens with that. So I put it in, and as I thought might be the case, the cable's getting slightly warm. There's too much resistance in this piece of cable. I did wonder if it was perhaps a bit small for this. I'm trying to draw like nearly 1000 watts off it at the moment. It's only warm, so it's not bad, but that's obviously not good enough, so I'm going to have to get another set of this cable, which should in theory reduce the resistance on it and make this thing think that there's more voltage going in. It's going from 12.8 to 9.2, which is the intermittent blasting of noise, which is a pain. So that's a bit of a fail so far, but it'll be all right. So, and it's going to be next week now, by the time the new cable has arrived, and 4 new connectors for it as well. Bit disappointing, but hey, it's halfway there, and I have tested it and it has put out 1600 watts, so and I know the batteries are charged right up, so we'll have to see what happens next week. So if you remember, I installed 1050 watts of solar up on the roof. It's a pretty dull sort of day today, and we're late in the afternoon. I think it's about 4 or 5 o'clock now without looking, and we're getting 4, 5, 9 or 10 amps. Even now we're getting 9 or 10 amps, so that's pretty good, I think, because the weather is it's just grey. It probably looks brighter on here than it really is. What else have I done? Well, I bought some of this. Hang on. Some of this. And that there is copper powder. Okay, so I bought 10 kilos of that. There's 5 kilos in there. Just copper powder, that's all it is. It's literally very fine copper. And I bought it with 10 litres of water-based lacquer. So all this under here is copper coat, but it's homemade copper coat, so whether it's as good as it should be, I don't know, because it's not in the water yet. So I then started roughing it up here with a bit of Scotch-Brite, which is just like a scouring pad, just to take the top off it. So once the top's all off it, it should then start going green when it goes in the water. That's the plan. So all of that's done, and all of that's done, and it looks okay. So that's the homemade copper coat. My neighbour's just redone her boat, which is this one. Oh, it looks pretty much the same to me. What do you think? I don't know. If anybody's actually done this and made their own copper coat, drop me a message and tell me if it works or not, or whether I'm going to be pulling it out in a couple of months and anti-fouling it, or doing it again. I haven't gone nuts with it. I haven't spent a lot of time. I've still got 5 kilos of copper left, and another 5 litres, not quite 5 litres of lacquer left. So I'm not sure how much to put on, but I whipped it up until it was kind of a porridgey consistency, and then rolled it on. So I haven't shown you any of that because That's really dull. You know how a roller works. The solar panels are working really well. I have been cooking. I've been cooking on the induction hob until my very, very cheap Chinese inverter went bang. It toasted all the transistors inside, half the board was gone. And this was while I was out. So note to self, turn the inverter off when you go out, because it could have easily set fire to the boat, and there goes my insurance. That's about it really. That's all I've done since you saw me last. I'm sorry that I haven't been posting as regularly as I was. I was trying to do it every Sunday and release something, but it has been so far the year from hell. I've had no money, the work is very sporadic, and I've still got massive amounts to do to the boat. So if I don't get the boat done, I can't go sailing. If I can't go sailing, I can't do the videos. I am 2 sails short, so if you know anybody, or you've got an old sail that you don't want that I can cut down and make fit this, that'd be amazing. I have got a couple of sails. I've got an industrial sewing machine anyway, so I can change stuff, hopefully. It doesn't have to be perfect, I just want to get out sailing again. And I've got to recondition that wind gen. It is currently hanging on with a piece of string, but I have stainless wire, and I'll get it swaged and fitted to the deck so it won't come off. That was all a bit Heath Robinson when I bought that. That's a land-based one there, but it's the same as a Rutland 913, I think it is, but it's just got a big metal box on it instead of plastic back. And it also, the good thing about it is once it gets up to a certain speed where it's going to damage itself, the fin on the back turns, and it turns itself out of the wind to stop it getting damaged. And that's about it so far. I've taken some of the lines down off the mast and moused them, which is just basically putting a piece of line up there so that you can thread the stuff back through afterwards. And that's about it. And I've got my fire installed, which is fabulous. That makes me so happy, just having something that you can just chuck a couple of sticks on and it's suddenly heated the whole boat up. So I haven't used any of the diesel. I've used no diesel at all. So I don't know, is that carbon neutral, burning a bit of wood that can be grown again? Maybe it is, I don't know. Somebody will put me right, I've no doubt. So that's it really. All the batteries, the cheap batteries that I bought, let's be honest, they're not as good as lithium batteries by a long way, but they are, I think they're 300 and something odd pounds, I think, for the whole lot, and they're 110 amp hours, and they're the cheapest ones I could find because I don't have any money. And I've been cooking at least once a day, and more like twice a day, up until my inverter went bang, with no problems at all. Now once I've got the correct size wire on this new, it's called Eggs Catty, I've never heard of it, but anyway, if it lasts for a couple of years, that'll be amazing. Once I've got the correct wire on it, it will draw the right voltage, and that will all work, because I have had it running at 1600 watts anyway. And it tops itself up by 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. I can use it again, it's full, without going down below 70% full battery, because I don't want to be starting smashing the batteries too hard and wrecking them. And that's about it. So thank you for watching. For more than anything, I'd like to thank the people who've sent me little messages saying, you haven't posted for a while, are you okay? It's just been fantastic. It's really quite emotional actually to hear from people that have put up, we don't mind that you're not sailing at the moment, but we'd just like to follow your life and see what you're up to. So thank you for those people that have done that. It meant a massive amount. If you'd like to support the channel, which would help me massively, because I'm permanently skinned, as anybody that knows, that has a boat, will know, it just eats money. It eats money, and this is the way I want to live. So if you can afford to chuck a few quid in, somewhere there will be a link. That'd be amazing. No pressure. Other than that, you can really help me by clicking the like button and clicking the subscribe button, and let's build something out of this. And then you can watch me in the near future go back around the UK, because that's what I want to do. I want to go back up to Scotland. I want to do Ireland again properly, because we kind of scooted down through Ireland really quickly, and there's a lot more to see than we actually visited. So I want to do that. I want to go up to the Outer Hebrides, and I want to see orca up there. I want to see the minke whales and all the dolphins again, because that's just a thing of joy. And maybe a little bit further afield, and then maybe the next year Norway, and then back down possibly to the Med, with a guy, Ian, who you've met on this channel already, who I helped with his solar panels. He's looking to come back down from Norway this year, and then maybe down to the Med, and then across to America or somewhere. So that's the plan in my head. Just keep following and see what happens. I'll see you next week. Thank you very much.